Magic Treehouse, Book Number 30, Hurricane Heroes in Texas, by Mary Pope Osborne. Chapter 10, Hurricane Heroes. Jack stared at the bare, broken tree. He couldn't believe it. "It's gone?" he said in a whisper. "Wait," said Annie. "Is that it?" She pointed to a pile of muddy boards jammed against the iron fence. "Maybe," said Jack. "What's left of it?" He and Annie stepped over to the ruins of the treehouse. The floor was covered with brown mud. The roof was missing. 3 of the 4 walls had caved in. Jack started to lift one of the fallen walls. "Hold on," said Annie. She reached under the wall and pulled out their wet Pennsylvania book. "Oh no, it's ruined too," said Jack. "Wait," said Annie. She carefully peeled apart some pages. "Here's the photo of the Frog Creek woods." She showed Jack the smeared page. "That's all we need. Get in the treehouse." "Are you crazy?" said Jack. "Just get in," said Annie. "There's no inn to get into, Annie," said Jack. "Fine, then we'll just sit on the floor," said Annie. Holding the book, Annie sat down on the muddy floor. Jack sat beside her. He'd gotten so used to being wet and grimy that he didn't even think about the mud. Annie pointed at the smeared photo of Frog Creek. "I wish we could go there," she said. Nothing happened. Jack put his head in his hands. "I wish we could go there," Annie shouted. Jack felt the floor of the treehouse start to move. "Whoa," he said. He couldn't believe it. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Tap, tap, tap. A breeze blew through the window of the treehouse. Rain splashed softly against the oak leaves. "We're home," Annie said. Jack looked around. As always, no time at all had passed in Frog Creek. Jack and Annie were wearing their own dry, comfortable clothes and shoes again. The canvas knapsack had changed into Jack's backpack. The Pennsylvania book lay on the clean wooden floor. It was in perfect shape. Best of all, the treehouse had a window again, and 4 walls and a roof. "I didn't know if the magic in the treehouse could fix the treehouse itself," whispered Jack. "I was pretty sure it could," said Annie. "Of course you were," said Jack, smiling. "Come on, let's hurry home." "Wait, I want to look in the Texas book one more time," said Annie. "It was ruined by water damage, remember?" said Jack. "Yup," said Annie, "but I'll bet it's fine now." Jack pulled their Texas book out of his backpack. The book was as good as new. "Yay," Annie said. "You were right," said Jack. He handed her the book. Annie looked in the index. "Here," she said. She turned to the right page. "Oh, wow, listen to this." She read aloud. "Mother Mary Joseph was an outstanding hero of the great Galveston hurricane of 1900. When the storm hit the island, she and her community of nuns saved the lives of more than 1,000 storm refugees. Many people of Galveston called her—" Annie gasped and looked at Jack. "You won't believe this," she said. "What?" he said. "Listen." Annie read. "Many people of Galveston called her a shining light." "Oh, man," said Jack, smiling. Annie turned the page and read more. After the storm, 6,000 to 12,000 people were dead or missing, and 4,000 buildings were destroyed. But the survivors of the Great Galveston Hurricane did not give up. In spite of their suffering, they immediately began rebuilding their homes and their lives. Rose would say that's what Texans do, said Jack. She was so proud to live in Texas, said Annie. She kept reading. Workers also built a high seawall to help keep the sea from ever destroying Galveston again. Most amazing of all, they pumped sand from the floor of the Gulf to raise the level of the whole city. Today, Galveston is one of the best protected cities on the Gulf Coast. That's really great, said Annie. She put the book on the floor. I'd like to go there again, in our time. Me too, said Jack. And I'd like to meet the great-great-grandchildren of Rose and Lucas, said Annie. And Lily, said Jack. Annie smiled. But first, I'd like to go home and see Mom and Dad. Yup, said Jack. I'd like that more than anything in the world. Annie took off the star necklace and set it on top of the Texas book. Jack pulled on his backpack and climbed down the rope ladder. Annie followed. As they started through the woods, the rain gradually stopped falling. Streams of misty sunlight slanted through the trees. Birds sang loudly. Remember what Mother Mary Joseph told us, said Annie. Deadly storms are terrible, but they always end. Then you start over, said Jack, and you look at the world a little differently. Yeah, like ordinary things seem more special than before, said Annie. Like comfortable shoes, said Jack. Like birds, said Annie. Like sunlight, said Jack. Like family and friends, said Annie. Like family and friends, repeated Jack. Let's hurry. He and Annie took off running through the Frog Creek woods, heading for home.